don't
Are we?
complain. Don't complain about Skippy. That's all we got. Yes, we're going. We need critical thinking. We're here. Well, I'm here. Put your hand up if you're not here.
I can't put my hand up.
Right when I go to
Oh,
start,
dear.
my bloody headset tells me that I've got to change the battery. Wow! Wait a sec. Well, here.
say,
What? What? Who?
it's not like we're there. We're definitely we're not like it's not like we're there. We're definitely here, which is not your which is
I'm here.
exactly. And I'm
You're
here,
there, and Terry's over there.
down there.
Yeah, down there.
Not quite straight through,
Okay,
because
look.
if you did straight through, you'd come out about 1,000 miles, sort of just southeast of the bottom of New Zealand.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which would be a very
I would be, as they say, feet wet.
yes,
Okay.
a tad moist.
Damn.
Am I back? Yep, I'm back.
You are. You're back. Back and better than ever. And Paul's still writing that clue out.
Oh, we got the J.
There you go. I finished
The
writing
J
the clue.
hyphen B something B.
Oh, I've got 216 characters. What can I cut out?
What's the limit? 200, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just take all the spaces out of it.
Hey Phil,
Make it interesting.
if you want to join the panel, you can. You know where the links are.
Oh, I'll just post it in 2 sentences. Has anyone had a go at guessing it yet?
I've got as far as guessing John Baptiste, but that's it.
Has anyone noticed the YouTube's changed the panel underneath the video, and it's annoying.
Have they?
Yeah.
Was it a French physicist? Ah,
There you
Yeah,
go. There's your
I
clue.
haven't read your clue yet.
Yeah, the layout they've put underneath the videos is not the same as it used to be.
Oops, sorry, didn't mean to get it, everybody.
Greg to everyone. Well done, Greg. You're just as smart as him too.
Yeah, probably.
Juan Baptiste. Yeah, but it's hyphenated, so yeah. Juan Baptiste doesn't really go with a hyphen.
Well, just put the hyphen in there then.
Okay. You didn't put the hyphen there, Carl.
Got a rogue hyphen. You're going to have to...
It could be
Track it
Jill.
down.
Jill.
I put my guess in.
Oh, pardon me.
Well, I'll read the clue just to help people. Today's scientist was a French astronomer and mathematician who co-discovered a law of magnetostatics. Magnetic statics. Is that right, Paul? Something like that? He also
He did it with
established the reality of meteorites, made an early balloon flight, and studied the polarization of light. Oh, magnetostatics. Sorry, I read that. There you go, I read it right that time.
That was with the guy's first name. It's a cat's name.
A cat. Cat's
No,
name.
this is not the person we're trying to find, but the guy he worked with for the magnetostatics. That's what a magnetic statics.
Elmings is doing one. Doris is doing someone. Jean Baguette. By Jean
yeah.
Baptiste by
Not baguette by it.
Baguette.
Baguette. Yeah, it's the
And strangely enough,
Elvis has got it right.
Pepe
Jean
Le Pew
Baptiste
doesn't fit.
Biot. That's the guy. He co-discovered the Biot Savart law.
Felix.
Yeah.
So who got it right?
The Peanuts, I think it was.
Ilmix.
Let's see.
The Elmigs?
Elmix, yeah.
Jean Baptiste Biot?
John.
Yeah.
I could do the snooze.
I think I have to make Alan happy and we'll get rid of Craig.
Yes, please.
Craig.
Well, he hasn't said anything wrong yet.
No, just so people know, that was I was setting up for. I put a little post over on my channel to try and set up for a video. I was getting people to vote for who they might. I'd like to do a video on a review on debunkers. So you can choose which debunker you'd like me to do first.
I voted in that, and I voted for him.
Yeah, so he was currently leading, which is why I sort of started getting him ready.
Fair enough.
So we'll switch back over to Turtle. Where are you, Turtle? Oop, can't find me. I'm lost. There we are.
He's coming. I can see his flipper.
His flipper. He's a bit off the screen. What are you doing over there?
There was Jaws. Now there's a turtle.
Turtle. Come on, Turtle, give me a.
You didn't break your turtle, did you?
He's gone off screen.
That's when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Yeah.
It's still safe to go back in the
trying to
water.
Back in the
hide.
water. Yeah.
He's trying
Them
to hide for
turtles
some
give you a
reason.
nasty nip.
you got something written on the screen. I don't know if that's affecting the.
Nah.
Or as somebody wrote in Small Gods, turtles. There's good eating on one of them.
There is.
I actually discovered that I've got one of his books on my bookshelf after all.
Well,
Really? Which one have you got?
Turtle.
Really?
Sorry, which one?
More.
Oh, yes.
Is that a good place to start?
It's a good place as any, yeah. I mean, that's a fairly early one. That's early doors. And Death really does sort of develop from there on. I mean, Death becomes one of the major characters. You can see he'd sort of got all these characters sort of worked out in the early books. And then obviously, as he keeps writing, they just get better and better and more fleshed out. And fleshed out Death. Yeah, he gets well fleshed out.
Yeah.
But it's because of Mort that he ends up having the his granddaughter Susan, who's got some of his abilities.
Yeah.
That all comes much later on. But Mort kickstarts all that because Mort becomes his Death's apprentice.
Yeah.
Phil said
The
we
book
should
Mort
not-
is
Phil-
pretty crucial.
Phil said we should not forget the Frenchman on Etwine, Louis Malice. I'm not sure who that
Or
is.
something. No. Sorry, Phil. Forgot him.
Yeah. Afraid so.
Who? Yes, Sir Terry Pratchett was indeed a genius.
I like that he didn't plan out his world, but was just smart enough to start from the middle and then just work outwards.
Yeah.
So when someone did start mapping his world, it just fixed because he decided that everything just went, oh, that's further out than
Yep.
than before.
We've got a part turtle. Is he a bit shy tonight, is he?
Here he comes.
Oh,
There he is.
he swam over. The tide might
He's
have been a
swam
bit of a current. Got to watch
Oh,
out
yeah,
for those
he's set up
currents.
with something else. Put up the
Well, maybe, yeah,
in the background there.
maybe
Yeah,
we should.
shift him over.
Maybe we should give them some water and let them turn back into grapes. Oh no, that's raisins, isn't it? I think.
It's good money picking grapes.
Better money sitting on your ass.
Yeah.
Well,
I got a mate who's got a vineyard, and when it's grape picking season, you can go and get a few $100 to just for a day.
it's not bad going.
Yeah. They supply everything, even the feed. So you can't argue with that.
Nope. Oh, bloody hell.
So who else's highlight of the week was the debate that was seems to be the highlight of the week for me anyway, or since Wednesday anyway.
I personally, I preferred the one with Cats because he obviously knew how it was going to go because he's been around the
Yeah.
block a couple of times, and like he said right from the start, this entire thing is about honesty. And I thought, yep, well played. I know exactly which way this is going, considering he's talking to Flatsoid.
I thought it was interesting that Flatsoid actually acknowledged him that he deleted the frames. He kind of has acknowledged, yes, I did that, and had some, and it's all valid reason why I did it. I couldn't understand what he was trying to say, but
He deleted the frames to get rid of refraction. There was miraging going on. I mean, you can see that when you go, especially when you go through it frame by frame. But so he was saying he'd got rid of that part where the capsule was falling through the mirage. But we all know that's bollocks because it must have spent about a frame going through the mirage, maybe two if you're lucky, and the rest of the time it was still falling because it's gone beyond the curve of the Earth. That's what he cut out. He wanted to cut, and that's what he originally did. When you played the two side by side, he'd cut out everything from the capsule disappearing to the splash coming up, and that was the 13 frames he cut out, and that's what he originally lied about and said, no, I haven't cut any frames out. And then I think even he realised, shit, they've got me here. I'm going to have to admit I've cut the frames out. And when he first admitted he cut the frames out, I think he owned up to cutting about 8. So he couldn't even get that right.
yeah, but wasn't the whole point? That was the argument. See, the thing crashed and then the splash came up immediately. So he was making that point. He knew he deliberately, artificially created that point, and then he was making that point. And now he's claiming it was an accident.
Correct,
because
Reds was saying, look, you can see there's a pause between the capsule disappearing and the water coming up. Why is there a pause? Because it's gone out of view, but it still hasn't hit the water. So if you cut that bit out completely, capsule comes down, water goes up. Oh, look, there's no curve.
Yeah,
that's exactly why he did it, to remove any evidence that there was curvature involved.
Got a lot of fluff.
And then he lied about it. He lied about it for months afterwards. And even when he admitted to cutting the frames out, he still lied as to why he cut the frames out. I mean, he lies. That's what he does. And if he hasn't rehearsed his lies, then he trips over himself very quickly, like he did with Cats the other night. Especially when he started talking about the moon and plasma, because I think he was just struggling at that point, just made something up.
Were you able to find his original video on his channel for that one? For that
the missing frames video. Surely you would have enough shame to have taken it down.
Really? You think? Let's have a look, shall we?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
well,
doing
you
now.
would think.
That's what I'm doing right now. This is going back a while, isn't it? So I have to go back a fair while.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to go way back.
Okay, I'll do a reverse. I'll sort by oldest. See if we can find it. I don't even know what it was called, that one.
I love how he just loves to drop technobabble in his thing. Oh, you got to take account of parallax. What the fuck does parallax have got to do with it? It's just a word that he liked.
That one.
You think it's that one?
Quite well. Considering next but one is a response to Red Rhetoric's false allegations, probably.
Yeah.
So do you
Just going
think?
through it frame by
So do
frame.
you think this one would be the better one to play, not the one with response?
No, I'm thinking that's got to be the one with the missing video.
And we can probably bear to watch 4 minutes, I suppose.
You
Put
don't
on
even
double
need to.
speed.
You don't even need to do that. If you go to 2 minutes 54, because I just opened that up and that's pretty much where I've left it.
Oh, so he's got this off Red Rhetoric's video.
Yes. Yep. And then cut frames out of it. Yes, we did see the frames you cut out. Because his argument is that here it's going into a band of refraction, which it is. But that goes through that for 2 frames if you're lucky. Hang on, let me tell you. 1, 2, yes. In 2 frames, it's gone.
Going into the bushing zone.
And then there should be a gap of another 10 or 11 frames. Now in Flatsoy's video, because I'm just going through it here, disappears 1, 2, 3, and there's the first splash of water coming up. So he cut a fair chunk out. But if you play it back at normal speed, you think, oh, look, it comes down, water splashes up.
Yeah.
If you watch it next to Red's original video, it goes down, there is a definite pause, and then the water splashes up. So, yeah, he's left the original video up, and this is 5th of July, 2019.
Yep. Surely he would have taken the lie down, but no.
No.
So he didn't cut it in this one, or he did?
No, he did. Do you want me to share mine? Because I'll show you exactly what and where he's frame by frame.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'll just make you bigger. There you go.
Okay, that one. Share. Right. So presumably you can see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it says it's. God, what's just? Oh, hang on. Where's,
Make it full
Right.
screen when you can. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so there we have the capsule. The capsule's coming down. He says, "Look carefully now." Yeah, okay, flat side, we will. It hits the refraction there because you can just see the start of it underneath. If I go back a frame and forward a frame, you'll see what I mean. So it's starting to mirage, and we go another 2 frames. 1, 2. Now it's disappeared.
Yeah, where'd it go?
Ah, well, we go forward another 2 frames. I think it's 2. It might be 3. 1, 2, 3. There's the first sign of the water splashing up. Mm-hmm. You do not see that if you do the same process on Reds. There's quite a few more frames to go before you start seeing all this. So he cut the frames out to make it look like, oh, it's gone through the mirage and bit, and then wallop. What do you mean proof of curvature.
Yeah. Where you actually see the splash starting to come out the top of the mirage, if you know what I mean, downwards.
There's quite between there where the capsule's disappeared and the first splash. He's cut out quite a few frames. It's somewhere between 11 and 13. I can't remember exactly which, but so yeah, this was the one that started it all off.
And wasn't it Chemo that presented this video?
Chemo came in and presented it to us when we were in Jose's streams. Because he said,
Right.
look, and to start with, he wouldn't say where this video came from. He'd got, because Chemo had the habit of doing this, he'd got this brilliant video, you all need to look at it. And eventually we got it out of him that it was Flatzoids. So whilst we're talking, I went and called up this video. I thought, where's this come from? Oh, it's come from Red's Rhetoric. So I called up Red's video and started looking at them side by side. Now, I don't know whether at that point Reds was already familiar with this and knew that Flatzoid had done it. But as Chemo came in and presented it, I said, hang on a minute. There seems to be some discrepancy between the two videos.
Oh, you busted him live. Wow.
Yep.
Well, kind of live. Wow.
Yeah. Problem is, I can't go back and show you that because that was on Jose's old channel.
The dead channel. Yeah, right.
The one that got spiked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it because Chemo did have a habit of doing that. He'd present somebody else's video, but he'd very carefully just show you the video without showing who it came from and what they based it on and all the rest of it. But we managed to get it out of him, I think, that yes, this has come from Flatzoid. So you go to Flatzoid's video and think, oh, he's got this from Red's Rhetoric. Fine. Well, obviously already subscribed to Red, so I'll go and have a look at his original video and yeah.
We don't know what video
Gotta get
that
up.
was, do we?
Got to get up pretty early in the morning to fool you farmers, don't you?
That's
Well,
the only. That's the only video there I can see what this one, if that's the one they're talking about.
It's the live Orion abort test video. 11 minutes. Center of the next one up.
That one?
That's it. That's Red's original.
I think that's the full thing.
Yeah, that is the full thing, isn't it? Oh yeah, that stubby little thing, that's right. Hey, you're a million miles away.
What's already happened?
Oh yeah, it's quick.
You
Yeah,
have
I
to do
mean-
some analysis to see that. With the naked eye, you wouldn't spot that. But unless you're suspicious like farmers.
Well, you have to remember which keys to use on your keyboard.
Yep.
Take you back and forth frame by frame.
You're only talking about half a second of video anyway, aren't you?
That's it, because it does
Yeah,
all
I
happen
guess-
so bloody quick. That's
22
why you have to
frame-
go through it frame by frame.
24 frames in a second usually, right? Yeah.
Well, apart from this will be 30 frames per second because it says so in the top right corner.
Oh, yep.
Well, I can only use the comma and the full stop.
Well, that's what I was using, comma and full stop. But that'll take you through frame by frame pretty much. Boom.
On one.
Well, I can still see it there.
Can you?
Just
All right.
barely make it out.
Count the frames. Then count the keystrokes. now
What
for
from
us.
there?
Well, we want to.
When it
after it goes
disappears.
behind the. Yeah, then but between that and the splash.
Okay.
I mean, technically, I think it's already
One,
behind the horizon, isn't it?
2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5.
Yeah, right. And back on Flatzoids, there was like one.
because I'm not entirely convinced that doing it this way is actually going through frame by
Yeah.
frame. I don't know. I'd have to look up YouTube and see what it's set up for, but I don't think it's frame by
Yeah, I
frame.
don't know
But
if
I mean,
that's-
you can see the difference when you watch Reds and watch Flatsoid. You can see that Flatsoid has taken frames out. I mean, Sean
Yeah.
Hufford and Reds went through this, and
Yeah, he took 14 frames out.
was it
There we
14?
go.
Okay, so
11 or 14, one.
something like that. Yeah.
Of course,
Like I
it's
say,
a lot easier.
Go on.
It's a lot easier looking at the original video footage as well, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, he's got this slowed down, I think. That's slowed down. No, that's real time. It seems to be more visual. I can see it a lot easier in this video than I can on Red's one.
I think he's bumped the contrast up some. Flatsoid has.
See, I can see it there. That's one. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. There you go. There's a frame missing. Because that was 4 keystrokes from that point. From that one. If you measured it from there.
Anyway, I mean, it's been analysed to death, and Flatsoid admitted he did it. So there's not
Yeah.
no real discussion really.
Timbo, behave.
Well, what do you do?
I've just seen his comment in the
Enhance.
Zoom enhance.
Yeah. Here's a clue. CSI isn't real life.
I'm going by the level at the bottom of that buoy there. And that's where I'm level with that there. So it was the same. So then, yeah, you can even see one frame or whatever, how many frames it's meant to be.
Hmm.
There is a difference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cherry pick, edit, yeah. And we get into trouble for that from them. Okay.
Hmm.
I heard a grunt. That's blue.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
But you can upscale your video from, you can increase the resolution on your video by doing some sort of upscaling technology now. So that's a kind of enhance. There's the unsharpen mask that enhances blurry photos. So yeah, if it's high resolution, you can zoom in on it. So CSI lives now.
Yeah, but unsharp mask isn't really that good, is it?
I've liked it.
I think there are better ways than unsharp mask.
Oh yeah, well that's just what I know about. I'm not an expert in this, but yeah, unsharp mask and things like it. I mean, you think that's an old one, yeah, but yeah.
Trouble is that actually I prefer some of the stuff that's possibly older than unsharp mask, but you need Photoshop and layers and multiple.
And why the hell is it called unsharp when it makes things sharper?
It's because it's because these all date back to techniques that were actually used in the analog days.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, but I can't remember. I'm fairly sure I've read it up, and it was something to do with something similar they did under analog systems.
Yeah, I've seen the Photoshop and a description of what they do in the Photoshop, and basically they're sort of trying to use a sort of an AI technique to introduce pixels that weren't there. So it's sort of like sharpening, which was where they enhance the pixels on the edges. So maybe it's got something to do with that. I don't know.
Yeah, they throw in a bit of edge finding. That's what most sharpening does. Actually, is throw in a bit of edge detection.
The Photoshop stuff's pretty good, but it's obviously only ever as good as the amount of information you give it. So
Yeah, a lot of the sharpening works. What it does is the pixels on the lighter side get slightly darkened, and the pixels on where the edge is, usually there's going to be one side's lighter than the other, and they kind of reverse it a little bit, do stuff like that. It makes it look a lot sharper to the eye. It's all perception based.
yeah, some of these new AI stuff can do a whole lot of stuff, but it's guessing as to what it is. It's not actually used in reality.
Yeah.
So that's where they do the stuff. You've seen it where it fills in gaps and adds information to the outside and can create a whole generated scene that doesn't exist to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
It's quite clever what the AI can do now, but it's all fictional. It's not real.
Not much use in forensics.
No,
unless you've got a really crooked cop. A really crooked cop.
There are ways of doing interpolation that are not AI based and would be potentially acceptable in a forensic situation, because they are at least well understood and well mannered. Because it'll always do the same thing with the same data.
I'll post in their Discord. I don't know if you've seen this image. In Versac. So this is a computer AI filling in the detail on the Mona Lisa.
Filling in the detail.
Yeah, and they're beyond the image. So
was
it's
gonna
worked out
say.
from what's there, and that's all generated by computer. It's not hand done.
So
Well, I wasn't sure what other video Flatsword was using as his evidence for that debate, but I've got this one that I noticed that it had some of the things that he was saying, so...
I thought it was pretty amusing. He picked cats to talk about oh, that slipped my mind. The resolution thing, the Rayleigh criterion. Because I know Katz did a great video about that. I learned a lot from Katz talking about the Rayleigh criterion, and yep, Flatsword tried to take him on about the Rayleigh criterion.
big mistake.
That was the wrong guy to pick on. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's Kat's only teaching to school kids, and his poor Flatsword's getting educated. Still doesn't understand.
No,
Yeah.
especially when Kat said, "You don't know what unresolvable means, do you?"
No.
No, clearly not.
Well, that's one of the big problems, isn't it? That the flurfers don't understand. the difference between visible and resolvable.
That's it.
Yeah,
Might
well,
not be able to
Bob
resolve it,
Nodell-
you can still bloody see it.
I mean, Bob Nodell when did calculations saying, using that and saying, oh, the stars should be invisible because they're beyond the Rowley criterion. He thinks that they disappear. Fuck.
His word salad for the moon, for the plasma thing, really screwed him up.
I swear he was making that up on the fly because he didn't know where he was
He
going.
didn't know
that
where
one
to
at all,
go.
did he?
I really get annoyed. I don't know if you guys have spoken about it, but that ABC shot of that
Yes, I've got
professor
that. I've got
that
that video.
nobody can find.
I've got the video.
No one can find anything else. Yeah, but I've been trying to find anything else about that guy.
No, you
his
won't.
name, he doesn't
We tried a long time ago about that. We couldn't find anything about it.
Yeah, I've tried too. Yeah.
And yeah, he's just the ABC had a habit of dragging stuff out at that time, so it wouldn't surprise me if they made the whole thing up as a joke, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I bet it was a comedy bit from the ABC. I bet it was a
Or
a sort of April Fool's joke.
Or somebody just come out of the woodwork and they found him and then grabbed him and that was it.
Yeah, because there's very little data on it. I mean, I think it's on the ACBC's YouTube channel, but it's very little information on it.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's unlike them to do something without some documentation, if he was real. So, I don't know. I always thought that was a bit odd.
Yeah, was it done for April Fool? I wonder.
I don't know. It was done. It's a scene that gets pulled up every now and again. Paul, you would probably remember if we talk about it. It was before the moon, not long before the moon landing. The ABC had this guy on, and this clip gets dragged up with him trying to say that the moon, that they're just going to die when they go to the moon because the moon's actually plasma and not solid.
And he's supposedly from some Tasmanian university, wasn't he?
Okay. It just goes to show that they'll believe any old shit that they find out there. Providing it doesn't comply with real world science, they'll believe it.
Yeah, and that's that one that no one knows who this guy is.
Oh, I've just found it's on Reuters fact check. Fact check video about the 1965 Australian TV interview where man claiming the moon is made of plasma. Verdict.
Posted in the
misleading
chat for anyone who wants to look it up.
Yep.
Posted in the YouTube chat if anyone.
I've already got it in there.
Mr. Sanders, so calm and apparently unchanging, and yet it is part of my new conception about the nature of the world at this same sea. Many times in the past history of our Earth, rolled over the surfaces of the land masses, sweeping away all life and vegetation, and eventually returning again to its former bed.
This is the part of the biblical theory of the flood and the theory of people of other races.
Oh yes, this actual event, the last one, is recorded in all the sacred scriptures of all the old civilizations, from the Hindus to the Bible.
Mr. Foster, before we go on with that, you've made a number of predictions, scientific predictions, which you claim have come true. Now, what are those predictions, and how do you make this claim?
Well, they're all based on the new notion that the physical invariance principles of contemporary science are invalid. And I stated this first in a manuscript reviewed in Australia in 1954. And the validity of this statement was confirmed finally last year at Princeton when the principle of time reversal invariance was found to be invalid.
Well, who accepts the fact that you have made these predictions accurately?
Well, the facts as such are undeniable and must be accepted because they're documented. And it was accepted as such at Oxford, at the Tasmanian University, and also at the National University. The facts as such are accepted, but the explanations and the new views as yet are not.
Do you mean to say that you reject all the basic principles of science established since Aristotle's day?
No, it does not mean that. I state and maintain that the those concepts and interpretations of science, which are still based today on Aristotelian logic, have a certain purpose, but that is defined by a statement as that a spade is a spade or a fine chisel is a fine chisel. But these concepts are inadequate for a complete understanding of the real nature of the world.
How is it possible, Mr. Foster, that you as an individual can work out these theories when all the other established scientists have computers and all the money of governments behind them, and yet they apparently can't?
Well, I do not claim at all that it is due to my own intellect or to my own penetration. I have been deeply interested from early youth in the real nature of the world, and I held my own views and ideas. But many years ago, about 14 years ago, when I was challenging one of the fundamental conventional principles of science, I had a definite inspiration, not knowledge as such, but an indication and a guidance which I followed and which I worked very hard and to evolve into a new...
Not knowledge.
Inspirations are related to thoughts of genius. Do you think or consider yourself to be a genius?
No. I consider myself to be an
You're a
ordinary,
crank.
humble person who wants to serve mankind with what man has striven for from the beginning of consciousness, with truth and understanding of the world.
Well, now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to
Oh, here we go.
get observable
Here we go.
facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is a plasma phenomenon, a cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct?
Just before they landed on the
result
moon?
will be,
Yeah,
often
obviously.
decisive,
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. The soft landing attempts will all fail. That means that the mass of the moon is far less.
You better tell those
than
astronauts
currently assumed.
that
It's
they
in a
couldn't
different
land on it.
state of energy, and it has far less.
The guy's
mass.
a quack.
That means there is
Absolute
no more
quack.
explanation for the tides. If the moon, for example, had only 1,000th part of its current mass, then the tides would only be 2 inches high.
The correct word is crank.
Instead of
Quacks are
1
doctors.
14
He's not a
feet.
doctor.
And that
Yeah,
means
crank,
that
quack,
if
whatever,
it is
yeah.
proved that the moon is a plasma, then all gravitational theories are out, and a new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved.
Aren't you being a bit adventurous, though, because you know that we're going to be able to test out your theories on the moon fairly soon?
Well, not anymore. 11 years ago, of course, it was rather taking a risk. I was considered a lunatic, of course. But by now, the evidence accumulated already so much in my favor that I'm not taking any risks anymore. On the contrary, there is scientific views expressed all over the world now that the moon seems to be of a quite different nature of what was assumed.
But the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen. Not on the moon. On Mars, on Venus, on other planets.
No, that won't
The
happen.
moon is definitely, as I
No.
assert, a plasma.
Isn't there a slight contradiction? You mentioned the moon and the tides, Mr. Foster, and at the earlier part of the interview you talked about the tides sweeping over the Earth.
Well, there is no contradiction there, because once the moon is proven not to be a piece of rock, but something of far less mass, and the gravitational theories are out and discarded, new concepts have to be involved which will show that the lawfulness of nature in the cosmos is identical to that in a hydrogen atom or in atomic processes. And when this is
The ones who
understood
wits it.
and worked out in full,
Yeah.
it will be found that the physical processes of the Earth are quite different in geophysics of what is present assumed.
So an early magnetic
Possibly
festa then?
periods, mostly during the ice
Yeah.
ages, which occur every 200 million years, and there is a reason for that. The axis of the Earth suddenly tilts over. And when this happens, then you get the floods of the Bible, which were recorded before. The tides, the ordinary, everyday tides, have an explanation, even if the moon had almost no mass at all, because they are field effects. They're induced by cosmic pressures which exist in the field of our solar system.
What's the benefit to mankind in your
They
theory?
just took your stream down, Terry.
One, the first one, and the
Aw.
most important I would briefly put down is this. I think It is a new conception about the nature of the cosmic
They
world.
didn't do it
and
before when I
about
played
the
this.
nature and the veracity of consciousness.
Well, you might as well
Right.
turn it off. There's no point in playing it anymore, is there?
No.
Sort your stream out. Put a new stream up. So have YouTube shut it down? Have they?
Yep.
Oh yeah, stream
Stream
suspended
suspended
for
policy.
Oh, bollocks. YouTube, honestly, it's ridiculous.
I guess ABC likes that clip. Yep.
Yeah, it was suspended, so hopefully it'll come back up in a minute.
We didn't pause it and stop it often enough.
Didn't have enough commentary over it.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Yeah.
Criticise it.
talk to it.
Yeah. Well, I take back
we
my
watched it,
assertion. Take back my assertion that it was a joke. I think he's just a crank.
He's fair.
that-
People tried to do some research on this guy, but nobody really knew who he was at all.
No.
There was no information as to what his qualifications were, what his experience was, what kind of research he did. The only thing that anybody could find was one paper that was written under his name or appeared to be his name, or at least part of his name. But other than that, nobody knew who the hell he was.
He name dropped some manuscript. He said he wrote some manuscript.
Yeah. It's just like nobody knows.
He's
I found some of the similar name who worked as a professor of earth scientists and chemistry in Dundee, Scotland.
That's right.
And that's who they think it is, but there's no real definite links.
What
it's
accent did that guy have?
Pommy.
I think the other thing as well is that